There is nothing in this world that cannot be explained with logic and reason. Nothing in this world.
Every fiber of the earth, every molecule reverberates in anticipation of the awakening. The abyss calls for me, Mr. Holmes, as it does for you.
It's amazing how many people are just leaning against stuff, standing outside in the rain.
Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Hello, miss. No? Alright. What about you, sir? Are you a porter or something? You know, you're just standing there having a smoke. Well. What about you, miss? You just crying to yourself? Oh, good day. Two 21B. Oi! Isn't there supposed to be like a landlady who lives downstairs? Could have sworn they had a landlady. I can never remember her name though. But I think she's an older woman. What about you blokes? Do you see? Oh, there's no blokes here. There's only... Oh no, there are blokes. I guess blokes load slower than women's. Hello? Nobody? You all just background?
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Quite. Yeah, I already looked at all this. I was wanting to look at this. But no, I'm in the zone for that one.
I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
There's nothing else to interact with. How do I not have my evidence? I've interacted with everything in the whole freaking game so far. Oh, no, I can't change it now. Concentrating on things. See, now they're making me think that I missed a clue of some description.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
I can't even interact with the dustbin anymore. What about in my apartments? Hello? There's nothing else to interact with in here.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
He kind of sounds like Ewan McGregor, which is funny. Like, specifically when he's playing Obi-Wan. Huh. Alright, I must be a dum-dum. What's that? The little pulse. I guess it pulses for interactables. See, because it turns the door handle yellow.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? The ladder is broken. Recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Okay, so I can't observe anything else about that. Can't interact with the door either. How in the world did I get blocked right here at the freaking beginning of the game? Hold on, kids. I did need to go out to the flower shop. I just didn't look at everything. See, I could look at this.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Guess so.
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
Oh look, there's a cactus right here. It has a correct pot, it does.
Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin?
See, it's correct.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something. It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
Alright.
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Wearing makeup for beauty or concealment? A mourning brooch, honoring deceased husband. Clean boots, change shoes upon arrival. Luxury fabric unusable for work attire. Avoids eye contact or distracted. Her dress is made up from an expensive fabric that is not suitable for work. Her shoes show no traces of mud. She must have changed them when she arrived. Her eyes constantly dart around the street, seemingly in search for something, or perhaps she's waiting for someone. While Mrs. Fleming cherishes the memory of her departed husband, she's trying to move on, as suggested by her makeup and nice outfit. Perhaps she is dressing to attract someone's attention, or simply because she has learned to love herself again. Or use makeup to hide her tear-stained cheek. Her dress is made from expensive fabric that's not suitable for outside work. Her shoes have no traces of mud. While she tries to bury her grief by dressing extravagantly, she still wears a mourning brooch in memory of her late husband. Her gaze, always staring into the distance, reveals her emotional detachment. Taken as a whole, one must conclude Mrs. Fleming is still reeling from her tragic loss. She doesn't seem like it. We're gonna say ready to move on.
Mrs. Fleming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman need a reason to look or feel beautiful?
No, but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
Provide evidence.
I'll be off.
Sweetness. So, if we go into the Mind Palace, I have new things. Cactus and a cracked book. Neither of them are correct. Oh. Oh, the spine.
I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
Interesting.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right. I don't know anything about this, sorry.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Alright.
I should have worn something warmer.
Seems that conversation is done. Nothing in here appears to have changed. Alright, wrong item, right testimony. Exotic plants catalog. No. There we are. Barnes displays a bouquet of dead flowers to attract the attention of Mrs. Fleming, a florist. He may hope she will come into his shop and give him watering advice, or it could simply be a symbol of his desperation. Barnes anonymously gifted her a cactus, which he ordered from the catalog on his counter. A questionable choice, but for Barnes a symbol of his eternal love, since the catalog presents the cacti as immortal. Plainly, this is the same cactus he dropped on the Strand outside 221B Baker Street. Now to hear the full story.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
I believe we
Mr.
shall.
Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
Then open it.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You placed flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
Okay.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus in your paper. Forgive me.
I needed
Perish the
that
thought.
paper to
Literally,
prove a
don't
theory
worry about
and
it.
prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
I know what to do.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the obtruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Yeah, it was literally on the table.
Naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper.
Alright. Saltpeter explosion rocks docks. Locals at the Port of London had a rude awakening last night with loud bangs and thick red smoke disturbing the peace. Merchant ship Moskva had docked at Pier N3. Why did I say N9? At Pier N3 in the early evening en route to Europe when it was rocked by several concussive explosions. The Port Authority is yet to comment on the incident, and it is unknown if any crew members were on board at the time. Eyewitness reports seeing saltpeter leaking into the river. But with the area still off limits to workers and the public, it may be some time before we have a full account of what transpired.
Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear
Let
good
me know
news
if there's
about
any way
you
I
and
can make
Mrs.
it up to
Fleming.
you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
Okay.
I'm sure Barnes has had enough of our meddling, Mr. Holmes. We best be off.
Let's be off then.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as
Indeed.
thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared.
Another
I
disappearance.
said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But...
It's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
Alrighty. Let us go to Stenwick's. Actually, I already know where it is because I went that way first.
Not much further now.
This already looks and runs a lot better than a Sinking City did. Because that game was crazy. Where am I? Oh my god, I can just go. Alright then. To the Stenwick Manor.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Yes.
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony, then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
Tell me about Kimahir.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
Huh.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the
The
garden.
Swedish guy was
Miss it?
also real
You
big.
searched the room.
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
Is there any reason Kimahir may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Ooh, cabbage. How about, you know, like a
I
sausage or
take it
something?
this is the first time Kimahir has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Did Kimahir make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No, no. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
Alright. Let us look not inside. Well then, let's look around the outside then, eh? Let's check the gazebo first. No. Alright, the back garden then it is. Well. What's this then? Knee print.
Looks like a knee print. Chewing tobacco.
A nasty habit, said the guy who was addicted to opium.
A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
Interesting. Alright. We got new wardrobe options this warm here. Cordona suit, no jacket. Or the Cordona suit. The good old days.